Welcome, brilliant Leo souls, both long-time listeners and first-time wanderers, to my channel, Golden Fortune Leo. Whether you've been with me since the Saturn return of 2014, the cosmic midlife crisis that no one warned us about, or you just landed here after a late-night scroll whispering to yourself, "Why do I feel off even though everything seems fine?" You're in exactly the right place. And no, that's not algorithm magic. That's alignment, destiny, divine timing. You didn't click this video by chance, you were summoned. Because you, my friend, are one of the chosen ones. Not in the cheesy, overused sense, but in the very real, soul-level kind of way. The kind where your life has a higher mission, and the universe keeps gently, or not so gently, nudging you back onto the path you were born to walk. Now, let's talk about this week's message, because Red Alert isn't just a dramatic title for clicks. This reading isn't about vague spiritual fluff or feel-good affirmations you'll forget in 5 minutes. No, this is a call to transformation, a spiritual U-turn, a mirror held to your lion-hearted soul. In this session, we begin with a powerful opening led by Paul from Dove and Serpent Tarot. He doesn't just shuffle cards, he invokes the elements, the ancestors, and the holy guardian angel. When someone calls in the sacred like that, I sit up straighter. Why? Because it tells me this isn't entertainment, it's ritual. It's sacred space. As someone who's spent decades studying astrology, Jungian psychology, and the quiet wisdom of Buddhist philosophy, I'll tell you this: when Leo gets quiet, when that fire dims, it's not because the flame is gone. It's because the soul is waiting. Waiting for you to remember who you are. And sometimes, that remembering begins not with a roar, but with a whisper, "I'm not fine. I'm ready." So take a deep breath, Leo. Let's dive into the truth your spirit has been quietly waiting to hear. Let's talk about the Four of Cups, Leo. You know, the one, that card that shows up when you're sitting there, arms crossed, staring off into the void pretending you're fine. But let's be honest here. Since when has fine ever been enough for a Leo? You were born to roar, not to sulk in spiritual sweatpants. The Four of Cups is the emotional equivalent of microwaved leftovers, technically nourishing, but absolutely void of flavor. This is the card of complacency, of retreating into the safe harbor after a storm and then convincing yourself the dock is where you belong. It's cozy, sure, but deep down you know that harbor is starting to feel more like a cage. Now, as someone who's spent decades studying astrological archetypes and the deeper layers of human psychology, let me tell you, when a Leo goes emotionally quiet, it's never because they're truly at peace. It's because they've shut the curtains on the world and are binge-watching the highlight reel of what could have been. And don't think I'm judging, I've been there, too. Sometimes we trade the roar for a whisper just to avoid the chaos of growth. But make no mistake, the universe has other plans. Which brings us to the Dove and Serpent spread. We're looking at a cosmic cocktail of Pentacles, swords, and a healthy dose of Major Arcana. That's not just tarot talk for things are happening. That's soul alchemy territory. This spread says you're not dealing with everyday mood swings or minor inconveniences. This is about fundamental transformation. The kind that doesn't ask politely. The kind that rearranges the furniture in your soul and paints your comfort zone neon orange just to make sure you notice. Translation? You've outgrown the version of life you're pretending to be content with. And if you've been wondering why nothing feels quite right lately, it's because your soul is whispering, or possibly yelling, "It's time." Let's talk about that unmistakable tug in your chest, that soul deep stirring that doesn't let you rest no matter how many distractions you throw at it. You know the one. Maybe it whispers to you at 2 a.m. or strikes like a lightning bolt during your morning coffee. That's not random restlessness, Leo. That's your calling. And no, I'm not talking about your job title or what you do to pay the bills. I'm talking about your divine work, your passion, your purpose, that dream you stuffed in a drawer marked maybe someday and haven't dared open since Mercury was last in retrograde. As someone who's spent a lifetime decoding the psychological fabric of the zodiac and filtering it through the lens of Buddhist insight, I've seen this pattern again and again. When a Leo, born under the sign of the heart, ignores their inner fire, it doesn't go out. It turns inward. It morphs into irritability, restlessness, and eventually a quiet, aching regret. And let's be real, Leo regret isn't subtle. It shows up in existential haircuts, late-night online courses, and spontaneous declarations like "I think I need to move to Bali." Now enter the battlefield Mars in Capricorn. This placement doesn't play. It's not about the dramatic breakdown, it's about the quiet discipline of getting back up. Something threw you off track. Maybe it was heartbreak. Maybe a creative failure. Maybe life just got a little too loud and you hit pause. No shame in that. But here's the hard truth, the work still calls. The mission hasn't expired. This isn't about blind optimism or throwing yourself into chaos for the sake of ego. This is about trying again, not because you're desperate, but because you're wise. Because you've lived enough, lost enough, and learned enough to know that giving up on your soul's path isn't peace, it's slow spiritual erosion. So yes, the battle is real. But so is the victory, if you choose to step forward. Let's peel back the curtain, Leo, and talk about what's really going on beneath the surface, beyond the curated cool, the "I'm good" exterior, and the quiet sighs into your pillow at night. Because beneath all that royal poise, the Nine of Pentacles is humming like a drumbeat in your soul. More depth. More joy. More alignment with who you truly are. Not the version of you that's settling for comfort and calling it growth, but the one who knows, intuitively and undeniably, that you were born to flourish, not just function. As someone who's spent decades knee-deep in zodiac psychology and the subtle undercurrents of human behavior, let me tell you, when a Leo starts shrinking their light to make others comfortable, we're all in trouble. You didn't come to this life to trade soul magic for a monthly paycheck and social media approval. You came to expand. To radiate. To inspire. And that silent craving for more? That's not selfish. That's spiritual hunger. And ignoring it is like telling a sunflower to be satisfied blooming in the dark. Now, enter the Ten of Pentacles, that shimmering, Instagram-filtered version of the dream life that maybe didn't quite go according to plan. Maybe you chased a vision only to find the road riddled with potholes, financial strain, pressure from family expectations, or your own inner critic whispering, "Who do you think you are?" I've seen it 1,000 times. You reach for the stars, trip over reality, and then quietly convince yourself that dreaming was naive. But let me be clear, the dream didn't fail. It evolved. Maybe the form cracked, but the essence, that vision of fulfillment, legacy, love, and purpose, is still calling your name. And no, it's not too late. Which brings us to the Two of Swords, the mental tug-of-war that's been wearing you down more than you'd like to admit. You want peace, but not the faux peace that comes from ghosting your dreams and calling it maturity. Real peace comes when you finally stop tap dancing around your truth and choose. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. And spoiler alert, the path forward is rarely the one that loops back into your comfort zone. So, stop waiting for a sign written in fireworks. This is it. The cards have spoken. Your soul is not asking, it's insisting. Now the only question is, are you ready to listen? Let's get into the real meat of this reading, Leo, the part where you're standing at a soul crossroads, looking at your life with that familiar mix of fire, hesitation, and just a pinch of "what the hell am I doing?" The Lover's card has arrived, not to swipe right on a soulmate, though for some of you chosen ones, don't be surprised if destiny comes with dimples. No, This card is about something far deeper and far more uncomfortable than romantic entanglements. It's about commitment. To your path. To your power. To your why. See, after decades of studying astrology, archetypal psychology, and peeling back the layers of the human condition with a side of Zen wisdom, I can tell you alignment isn't a trendy concept. It's a spiritual contract. You can't fake it. You can't manifest it with a vision board alone. Your soul either signs on the dotted line or it starts pacing the mental hallways with a megaphone, asking, "Are we doing this or not?" And let me tell you, Leo, your soul is loud. If you've been feeling restless, stuck, or like life tastes like someone forgot the seasoning, congratulations, that's your soul demanding realignment. It wants your yes. Not your maybe. Not your when the timing's better. Your full-bodied, full-hearted, no-holds-barred yes. Now, let's talk about your persona, as seen through the lens of the High Priestess. On the surface, you're giving mysterious, aloof, maybe even I'm totally zen with not getting what I want energy. But deep down, you want the stage. You want the connection. You want your voice, your work, your light to be seen not in some narcissistic, selfie-stick way, but in the holy I was born for this kind of way. And here's the thing, Leo, you weren't meant to live in shadows. You are the sunlight. You're not here to whisper your truth in candlelit corners while pretending your content translating everyone else's destiny. You're here to shine, unapologetically. And trust me, I know how tempting it is to play small. I spent years playing the supporting role in other people's plays, smiling politely while my soul kept throwing tomatoes from backstage. Then there's the LEO.Judgment, a card that dares you to walk through the spiritual threshold. It's not just a door, it's a reckoning. It's the moment where you leave behind the half version of yourself and risk becoming whole. And yes, like Odysseus, the journey ahead has monsters. There will be uncertainty, vulnerability, and likely at least one existential crisis over herbal tea. But the fear you're feeling isn't about failure, it's about the loss of control. That's your ego clinging to the steering wheel while your soul is yelling, "Let go, we're flying." So here's the truth, the path forward requires courage, not control. Clarity, not perfection. You're not being asked to have it all figured out. You're being asked to show up, wholeheartedly, and say, "Yes, I'm ready." Because when Leo finally commits truly, deeply commits, it's not just a moment. It's a movement. And trust me, the universe is already standing ovation ready. Now let's get to the part that both terrifies and frees us, the fear of our own light. The Sun card isn't just a cheerful symbol of joy and warmth. No, Leo, it's your cosmic mirror, your birthright, your undeniable brilliance, and yes, sometimes your biggest fear. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's the truth I've seen again and again in the birth charts, therapy rooms, and spiritual retreats I've guided over the years. We're not nearly as afraid of failure as we are of full-blown success. Because success, true authenticity, means there's nowhere left to hide. It means stepping into your full power and letting people see you, raw and unfiltered. It means no more shrinking to fit the expectations of others. No more blaming timing, the market, or Mercury in retrograde. And let's be real, being seen in all your fullness is vulnerable. That spotlight burns hot. But Leo, you are the spotlight. You were born under the sign ruled by the sun itself. So why are you still dimming your light like you're trying to sneak into your own destiny unnoticed? That brings us to your destiny, the Ace of Swords. This isn't just a sword, it's your sacred compass. It slices through doubt, illusion, and all the mental gymnastics you've been doing to avoid making a move. Clarity doesn't always come first, sometimes, it's born in motion. You don't need a 10-year plan, a mood board, or a perfectly aligned chakra system to start. What you need is decision. Because your higher self isn't whispering anymore, it's declaring, walk forward and the path will meet your feet. And speaking of your higher self, let's talk about the King of Swords. Look, you might not feel ready. Your face may not be beaming with unshakable confidence just yet, and that's okay. You don't need to feel like royalty to act like it. This isn't fake it till you make it energy. This is ancient spiritual law, clarity flows where commitment goes. The chosen ones don't wait until they're certain. They choose. And then they become certain through action, practice, and discipline. That crown on your soul? It's not inherited. It's earned every time you choose to show up, even when fear begs you to sit down. And so, we arrive at the final word, not from the cards, but from me, your guide here at Golden Fortune Leo. Tarot doesn't hand you a fate like a cosmic report card. It offers you a mirror, a torch, and a map. What you do with them, that's where your power lies. You're not here to merely survive or repeat cycles of almost. You're here to thrive, to lead, and to light up the world with the kind of joy only a Leo can radiate. So I ask you, Leo, what are you waiting for? Your light isn't going to wait forever. Your soul has waited long enough. This is your time. Dust off the dream. Grab the sword. And walk forward like the universe wrote this part just for you because it did. Now, if this message stirred something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Like it. Share it. Subscribe to Golden Fortune Leo, where we don't just read tarot, we live it, we roar it, and we rise through it. And hey, leave a comment and tell me, what's that Four of Cups moment in your life? What's the I'm fine that's actually holding you back? Let's talk about it. Let's roar about it. With Lion Heart. Golden Fortune Leo.